Although the vast majority of Christians in the world worship a man as God, worship Jesus as God, as the second person of the triune Godhead, that is not what the earliest Christians believed by any stretch of the imagination. The doctrine of the Trinity is not found in the New Testament, in the Christian Bible. The word Trinity was coined by a Latin church father, Tertullian, born 165. He was trained as a lawyer in Carthage, which is the part of the African continent that was a part of the Roman Empire. He converted to Christianity in 197. He coined this term, and you can understand why he would coin it because of the world he lived in, the Egyptian world, where triads of gods was commonplace. That was the language in which people spoke. But he also did not believe that Jesus was equal to the Father. That is a much later development. If we go to the Christian Bible itself, you will find very explicitly that Jesus is entirely subordinate to the Father. The New Testament doesn't reflect what the very earliest Christians believed, but it certainly reflects what Christians believed. If you're looking at the Gospels, you're looking at from, let's say, 70 to 90. So you're looking at that 20-year space. These were not Trinitarians. And in fact, the fact that the doctrine of the Trinity is found nowhere in the Christian Bible is very troubling to later Christians. Why isn't it there? How could what we are told is the absolute most important thing is to believe Jesus is God. If you don't, you're going to hell, according to most conservative evangelists. How can it not be there? So in fact, later Christian scribes inserted a passage into 1 John chapter 5, verse 7 and 8, where they literally inserted in their own Bible a Trinitarian passage, which you'll see in the King James. You generally will not find in other Bibles, but that part where it says that there are three that bear record in heaven, the Father, the Word, and the Holy Spirit, and these three are one, that was added later. Now, and if you go to almost any Christian Bible, it'll bracket it, it'll footnote it, or it just takes it out completely. Virtually all Christians concede this is a much later interpolation. It was added into Latin translations probably somewhere 7th or 8th century, and then a Greek manuscript in the 16th century. But the pressing question is, why did scribes interpolate it, and why was it so cherished, and why was there such a fight whether it should be in the text that produces that the King James translators rely on? It's very obvious. They put it in there because it isn't in there. And that's why they felt something had to be in the Christian Bible that reflected a clear, concise doctrine of the Trinity. So the fact they put it in shows that it wasn't there. I mean, it's obvious that it wasn't there. So there's your answer. Your answer is that early Christians did not believe in the Trinity. They didn't worship Jesus as God. Even the book of John, we have what's called the highest Christology in the Christian Bible, where Jesus is portrayed as in the most exalted state, says openly that the Father is greater than I am, John 14:28. There's no question that Jesus can't do anything by himself, but only the one who sent me, John 5:30. So the book of John is a highly improved gospel. Once you go back to Mark, which is a much less embellished Christian book, dating to about 70, but there you find Jesus is not even born of a virgin. He's introduced to us as an adult. So Christianity is regarded as idolatry. It's forbidden for a Jew to even walk into a church. And Islam is not idolatry at all. And they worship one God, absolutely. And their belief about Jesus as a prophet is not the issue, because they don't believe that Jesus was God, and they in fact consider it an absolute abomination to express such an idea. And there were, incidentally, some breakaway sects of Islam that started to deify Muhammad and deify prophets, and they were absolutely thrown down on their head. I mean, it was considered completely obscene.